Hi guys, this is a video that's going to take you through a few quick exercises that can help you with any back pain or tension, maybe give you a little bit more mobility there if you feel like that area is really tight. So we're going to start on our hands and knees with a very typical yoga movement called cat-cow. So on your inhale, you're going to reach the tailbone back and reach the head forward. The back is going to sway a little bit, but rather than thinking about the shape of your spine, you're thinking about the breath opening the front of the body. And then as you exhale, pull the belly button in, the tailbone curls underneath you. There's going to be that rounding in the back probably, but not to the point of forcing. You're just feeling an opening in the back of the body. So again, inhale. This is cow, and exhale to cat. So really gentle, you're not going past the point of comfortable sensation and comfortable stretch. You feel the breath being utilized, so the inhale creates that opening and expansion, and the exhale helps you to pull the belly button in so that the movement is originating from the hips moving rather than forcing the spine. You try to keep the shoulders away from the ears in both positions. So even in cat, you're still not hugging the shoulders to the ears. And then when you're ready, we're going to rest the hips down toward the heels. If this isn't a comfortable position for you, you can have different things to support you. So you could have a blanket underneath your glutes so that you can rest them down on there instead of having to get your hips all the way down to your heels. Same thing with the head. If it doesn't feel comfortable to get the head all the way down to the floor, you can have something underneath you to give you support so you don't have to go that far. But what we're going to do in this movement is work with the idea of a back bend. So that sounds really fancy, and we're not going to do anything crazy. But usually when people are trying to do some sort of cool back bend, or even if you're not even thinking about it, but you're just standing, and I'll show you a really common position when we're standing is kind of like doing this. You're slouching and putting all of the pressure on your lower back, which is kind of like it's like a weak spot in our back. Just because it's already got that curve, it's easy to collapse onto it and put a lot of pressure there. So when we're thinking about a back bend, we do a lot of back bending in yoga, and when we're going into a back bend, we want to think of using our rib cage. It's more movement from the rib cage so that we're bending from the middle of our back instead of the lower back. So with that idea, in child's pose, you're going to take the hands out to the sides. You can have them on fingertips or just down with the palms down. But you're going to roll the shoulders back, so they're probably sinking down to the floor. Roll them back and down so you feel the shoulder blades kind of lock into place. And then if you can, if your ribs are all the way down to your thighs, you can actually like physically feel this, but either way, just imagine the bottom ribs are sliding forward along, like closer to the knee. So rather than being here, they're starting to slide forward toward the knee. So what you're going to do is take an exhale, pull the belly button in, keep the abs engaged like that, and then inhale, slide the ribs forward so you can open into a little back bend. And then as you exhale, pull the belly button in, hug the ribs in together like you're lacing them together. So inhale, lengthen, ribs forward and up, and then exhale, round. Just taking a few of those. So you can take a break here. This is something that we can really dissect. If you notice, when you exhale and pull the belly button in, you feel that engagement with the abdomen. That's the kind of engagement we want to have throughout that whole movement. If I let go of my belly when I inhale and try to go into that little back bend, my belly is going to fill up with air as well as my rib cage. And I want the air to all go into the rib cage so that the rib cage has more ability to expand open. So try it a few more times where you exhale, pull the belly button in, and keep it pulled in so that when you inhale, the inhale doesn't have to expand the belly. It can all be directed upwards into the rib cage. But as you exhale, you pull the ribs in, let everything deflate, remind the belly button to stay tight, pulled in, then inhale, open again. So just take a couple more of those, really feeling that the stable core is allowing you to mobilize the rib cage. Now just take one more if you can, if you feel comfortable with it. And then rest here. So you can get into whatever position is most comfortable to give yourself a break. Now when you're ready, you can take your hips down toward your heels. You can roll the spine up, and we're going to take one more movement. This is just a pose called Half Lord of the Fishes. It's a little twist. It sounds really fancy, but it's not that crazy. So you're going to take your legs out in front of you and feel your heels digging into the floor. So your legs are active. Doesn't mean that the legs have to be straight. They can be as bent as you need them to. You can even put blankets underneath the knees so that it gives you more like support, so you don't feel like you're gonna accidentally, strain the back of your legs. But keeping the heels pressing down, you're gonna take your right knee in and place the foot on the other side of your knee. So the left heel is still pressing down. This leg is your stabilizer, so keep it active. Your hands are holding on to your right leg, not on the knee though. So inhale, lengthen the spine up, feeling the sit bones underneath each glute. And then on an exhale, you're going to pull the belly button in and gently twist to the right. So normally I always did this before I learned. I usually, when I went into a twist like this, I would push my shoulders and turn my neck so that it feels like I'm getting a deeper twist. And what's happening there is instead I'm just putting a lot of strain on my shoulders, a lot of strain on my neck. I'm not actually twisting or getting any sort of benefit out of it. So instead, the waist is the guide. That's what leads the twist. So your inhale lengthens the spine, your exhale pulls the belly button in so you can twist. And then you let your chin be lined up with wherever your belly button is. It's not turned further away. And then with that, the shoulders are just set evenly between the belly button. So maybe it feels like you've barely twisted, but that's as far as you were twisting originally anyway. So just go with that. Maybe as you continue to breathe in the pose, you're able to go a little bit deeper, but at least let the breath help you support the position. Focus on a really full exhale, deep exhale, getting all of the air out. And then the inhale is really gentle and smooth. Take one last exhale, pulling the belly button in, and then inhale, release the twist. And then we'll bring the right leg out, pull the left leg in, and do the other side. So foot comes to the outside of your right knee. Holding onto the leg, press the right heel down into the floor. Keep the leg active as you inhale, lengthen up, and exhale, gently twist to the left. So again, you check with where your shoulders are at, check where your chin is at. It's all lining up based on the belly button. Rather than having like a goal of like how deep of a twist you want to be able to get to, let this movement be about you listening to your body and really gauging where there's pain, where you want to be careful, what's too far, what feels good. So instead of thinking of it as like achieving a pose, you think of it more as a catalyst for getting to know your body and its needs. Taking a few more breaths here. Again, really focus on the exhale, emptying out as much as you can, and then keeping the inhale really gentle and smooth. Not letting there be any tension in the neck or the shoulders, because you're not forcing anything. And then when you're ready, you can release the twist and take the legs out in front of you. If you want to finish up with any more cat and cow, just to kind of neutralize things, but don't do anything where you're doing anything extreme, obviously. So just a little tip, when you're thinking about doing a certain stretch, so where we had done our little back bend, when I took this inhale here, and then I exhale, I don't round my spine and go into a full cat position that's super extreme, because this is a fairly extreme position, a back bend like that. So I want to be careful about what I do afterwards, just to make sure that instead of doing an equally extreme pose, I'm neutralizing instead. So keep that in mind as you're going throughout different stretches or exercises, that you're careful of not doing both extremes of something. But that's where we're going to end. Thanks for joining me.